Welcome student for this lecture on introduction to the jigs and fixture. In this lecture we will study the difference between jigs and fixture, what is the importance of jigs and fixture, and some locating principle which is used in the jigs and fixture. Now in the manufacturing industry, jigs and fixtures are used for different purposes. Uh, it is widely used uh, in the manufacturing industry uh, to ensure that parts are get machined with the highest accuracy, and during the part manufacturing it will provide a better quality if you make the part with the accuracy, and for this we can say that production rate will be improved, uh, production cost will be reduced. Even we can design jigs and fixture for any complex geometry that we want to machine. So this will provide interchangeability of the part. Okay, we will get the improved work safety also. Even skilled labor is not required for this. So this will save the labor cost also. So overall, we can see that there will be improvement in the production. Ultimately, it will improve the productivity, and all this will result in uh, what we can say profit of the organization. Okay. So jigs and fixture are widely used in manufacturing, and it is a continuous activity in manufacturing. Now let's see what is the difference between jigs and fixtures. Okay. Now jig, both are used to hold the workpiece and locate the workpiece. But what is the main difference between the jig and fixture? The main difference is that along with the holding and locating the workpiece, jig will guide the cutting tool also. So guiding member is also provided in the jig. So this guiding part is also provided in the jig. Whereas fixture will only hold and locate the workpiece, but it will not guide the work. So guiding part will not be provided in the fixture. So this is the main difference between the jig and fixture. Both are used to hold the workpiece and locate the workpiece, but additional part, that is the guiding part, will be provided in the case of a jig, whereas this guiding part will be missing for the fixture. So these are different elements for the jig: locating elements for the workpiece, guiding elements for the tool, clamping elements for the workpiece. Similarly here, locating elements for the workpiece, then tool setting elements, work clamping elements. Okay, so you can see that there is absence of this tool guiding elements. Okay, so this again, jig is light in construction, whereas fixture is very heavy in construction if you compare. Then application wise, it is used for drilling, reaming, tapping, counter boring, counter sinking. Whatever operations you can perform on drilling machine, for all these applications we can use the jig. So all these applications, drilling, reaming, tapping, counter sinking, counter boring, all these operations are performed on the drilling machine. So for all this we can use the jig for the work holding and locating device. Fixture, fixture find a wide application as compared to the jig. You can see that it is used for milling, turning, grinding, broaching. Okay, almost all the machine other than the drilling machine. No doubt only for machining. It is used for inspection also. Inspection, even welding fixture, even assembly fixture also. So fixture has wide application than the jig. It is not only used for machining but also used for welding purpose, but it is also used for assembly purpose, it is also used for inspection purpose. Special features, if you see, in this case the drill bushes are there for guiding the tool. So this guiding part of the tool, you can see, will be considered by the drill bushes. So these drill bushes will be used in the jig to guide the cutting tool. Whereas in fixture you can have the filler gauges, setting block to adjust the position of the work. Setting block is used only at the start of the machining, so this can be used for machining. So this is the special feature in case of a jig and fixture. Now let's see the next part. So we have seen jig is used for guiding the cutting tool. So in the jig we are using the bush. So this is the bush what we are using, drill bushing. So this drill bushing is made from the hard material, high carbon steel or high chrome nickel steel we are using for manufacturing of this bush. Later on we will see the different types of bushes also. So drill will pass through the bush and then it will come in contact with the workpiece. So here you will have the workpiece for drilling. Okay. So first the drill will pass through the bush and then it will move into the workpiece for drilling operation. So this guiding part is a drill bushing what we are using, that is called drill bush also. Okay. So this is what guiding member will be there in case of drilling operation or in case of jig. Then we have fixture. Fixture you can see in case of milling operation we are using setting block. Okay. Now this setting block is nothing but the reference block. At the start of the milling we have to take the first cut to the workpiece. So the position of taking the first cut is very difficult to adjust for the operator. So if you have the setting block in your fixture, so tool will take the reference of this setting block and it will directly go into the workpiece for the first cut. So after the first cut you can go for the second, third and fourth one accordingly very easily. But setting block is used only for the first work and it is used for referencing the tool with respect to the workpiece. So this is what we can say the primary difference again between the jig and fixture. Here we are using the drill bushing as a guiding element, and in case of fixture we are using here the setting block at the start of the machining. So this setting block will directly go for machining or it will reference the tool with respect to the workpiece. Then we have some operations which are common to the drilling jig. So you can see drilling, reaming, tapping, chamfering. So all these operations what you can see, all these operations are performed on the drilling machine. So whatever operations that drilling machine can perform, for all that operation you can use the jig. This is again the basic jig. What we can see, this is the workpiece. In this workpiece where drilling operation we are doing. Okay. Then bushing we are using to guide the tool into the workpiece. So tool will first pass through the bush. So this is the bush. So first the drill will pass through the bush and then it will come in contact with the workpiece. So in this way drilling operation is performed, and this drill is the bush is installed in the jig plate. You can see the bush is installed in the jig plate which is mounted over the workpiece surface. So this one is the jig plate, and in this jig plate the bush is installed, and drill will first pass through the bush and then it will go into the workpiece for drilling operation. So in this way the bush is serving as a guiding member for the cutting tool. Then this is the simple fixture. Almost all of we have used this fixture in the workshop. So vice. So vice is used. Vice as one is fixed jaw, another is the movable jaw. So in the vice we can use a rectangular workpiece, even some symmetrical workpiece can be held with the help of this vice. Okay. So it is widely used fixture for different machining. So this can be used on drilling machine also, this can be used on milling machine, or for filing operation for holding the job. So this is what a simple fixture for example. Now let's consider degree of freedom or the planes of movement. Now it is very important to consider the degree of freedom or the planes of movement when we are locating the workpiece into the jig or fixture, because we have to restrict the motions what we are having for the workpiece. Now any workpiece in the space will have 12 degrees of freedom. So the workpiece in the space we can see. Now which 12 degrees of freedom are there? You can see we have three axes: x axis, y axis and z axis. So we have translatory motions along x axis. Okay, so this is positive x, this is negative x. Then we have positive y, negative y, positive z and negative z. So these positive and negative motions along x and y axis, so these are total 6 motions along 3 axes. Then clockwise motion and anti-clockwise motion along x and y axis. So clockwise along x axis, then anti-clockwise along x axis. Similarly clockwise along y axis and anti-clockwise along y axis. Z axis again clockwise and anti-clockwise. So total 6 rotary motion and 6 translatory motions are there. So we can see here, these are 12 degrees of freedom we are having. So any object in the space can move in 12 directions, or it is free to move in 12 directions, 6 translatory and then 6 rotary, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So we have to take into account these 12 degrees of freedom whenever we are locating the workpiece. Now let's see one simple principle which is very important in the jigs and fixture. This is called as a 3-to-1 principle. Now this is the workpiece which is to be located by using jig or fixture. Now let's consider this adjusting block for the example, how it is to be located. Now this 3-to-1 principle, according to the 3-to-1 principle, we are going to use 3 pins at the base, 2 pins on one side and 2 pins on another side. So that is 3-to-1 principle. Suppose this is the base of the workpiece. So in this base we will use the 3 pins. On this side we will use the 2 pins, and on this side we will use the 1 pin. So this is 3-to-1 principle. From the base we are using the 3 pins. From one side we are using the 2 pins, and from this side we are using the 1 pin. So in this way we are going to locate the workpiece with the 3-to-1 pins at the different positions. That's why it is called as a 3-to-1 principle. Let's see how it works for locating the workpiece. Now at the first, these are the 3 pins which are used at the base. Okay. Now because of these 3 pins, we can see that this one is the front view, then the top view, and then the side view. Now because of these 3 pins, we can clearly see that the workpiece cannot go in the downward direction. That is, this number 12 degree of freedom will be restricted. Similarly, it cannot rotate along x axis now, that is clockwise motion. So we can see number 2 and number 5 will be restricted now. Okay, and similarly along x, that is the number 1 and number 4, and number 2 and number 5, that is along y. So rotary motion along y will be restricted. It cannot rotate along y. It cannot rotate along x also. X is what? 1 and 4. So this degree of rotary motion along 1 and 4 and rotary motion along 2 and 5 will be restricted because of these 3 pins. So total degrees of freedom are restricted are 5. So 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these 5 degrees of freedom are restricted with the help of this 3 pin base. So if you support the workpiece at the 3 pin at the base, we have these 5 degrees of freedom are restricted. So workpiece cannot move in these 3 directions. Now still we have some another directions which is to be restricted. We will use another pin. Now if you use 2 more pins on another side, so this is the 3 pin at the base. So with these 2 pins, additional 2 pins, again this one is the top view, this is the front view, and this one is the side view. Now total we have 5 pins, 3 pins at the base, you can see, and 2 pins on one side. With these 3 pins at the base and 2 pins on one side, now no doubt with the 3 pins earlier we have restricted 5 degrees of freedom. Now with these additional 2 pins on one side, we will restrict this additional three motions. Which three motions? Motion 3 and 6, that is clockwise and anti-clockwise motion along z axis. You can see this. If you add these three pins, we will restrict this number 3 and number 6, that is a rotary motion clockwise and anti-clockwise along z axis. Similarly, the number 8, that is positive y, this will also be restricted. Number 8, translatory motion along the positive y will be restricted. So total 3 degrees of freedom will be restricted with this 2 pin support at one side. So earlier with the 3 pins we have 5 degrees of freedom, and now with the with these 2 pins we have 1 degrees of freedom. So 5 plus 3, total 8 directions are restricted with this 5 pin base. Now the last pin 3 to 1. So 3 pins at the base, you can see 2 pins on one side and 1 pin on the another side. So one more pin we are adding from the another side. So this is what your this will complete your 3 to 1 principle. 3 pins at the base, 2 pins on one side and 1 pin on the another side. So because of this 1 pin, number 7, which is the positive x, will be restricted. So this is number 7. So total degrees of freedom restricted are 5 plus 3 plus 1, that is 9. So these 9 directions of movement will be restricted by this 3 to 1 principle. Now as we know that we have total 12 degrees of freedom. Now what about this remaining 3 degrees of freedom? Okay, with this 3 to 1 principle, 3 pins at the base. So these are the 3 pins at the base, you can see 2 pins on one side, these are the 2 pins, and 1 pin on the another side. So this is 3 to 1. 3 pins we are using at the base, 2 pins on one side and 1 pin on another side. So total 9 degrees of freedom will be restricted. Initially with the 3 pins we restrict 5 degrees of freedom. With these 2 pins we restrict the 2 degrees of freedom. So 5 plus 3, 8, and with this 1 we will restrict the 1 degree of freedom, that is number 7. So total 9 degrees are restricted. So what about the remaining 3? Total we have 12 degrees of freedom. Okay, so this remaining 3 degrees of freedom are restricted by clamping. So to clamp the workpiece at the proper position so that it will not get interfere with the cutting tool. So by clamping we have to restrict the remaining 3 degrees of freedom. Then again unclamping, we have to load and unload the workpiece into the jig or fixture. So 3 to 1 principle is a very basic principle what we are using in the locating. So this is very popular principle. 3 pins at the base, 2 pins on one side and 1 pin on the other side. So we can apply this clamping force. You can see, okay, from the required direction with the help of the clamping arrangement. So this clamping force will hold the workpiece against the cutting tool. So in this way we are holding the workpiece. Only 9 degrees of freedom are restricted by locating the workpiece, whereas remaining 3 we can restrict by holding the workpiece or by clamping the workpiece in the position. So we have seen what is meant by jig and fixture, the difference between jig and fixture, and the important locating principle for jig and fixture, that is a 3 to 1 principle. Thank you.